Tonight, a batch of 59 armed squad, equipped professional agri, charged officials to fulfill their commandate. Abolera Agwara reports.
Expected outbreak of the Ebola virus disease.
The passing out parade brought together heads of military and paramilitary organizations, security and defense corps, other heads of security agencies and members of public. Witnessed the graduation ceremony. The officer acquired different skills. The review officer, Commandant Donatus Ikemefuna, who inspected the guards, said the officers and men officers urged them to put what they have learned to practice.
This occasion is going on simultaneously with other commands across, the country. We are saying that you need training, to be on top of the situation in terms of security services.
The officers. The organization says the training of officers and men will fulfill the core mandate in the protection of government assets, critical to partner with other agencies in fighting violent crimes as well as maintaining peace and order in the country. In Lagos, Abolera Agwara, NTA News.
Nigerians have been urged to continue to maintain environmental and personal hygiene, even with the at an Ebola sensitization forum organized by the National Association of Nigerian Theatre Arts Practitioners in Lagos. Nabakwe has details.
Outbreak of the Ebola virus disease in the country created fear and panic amongst Nigerians who were unaware of the dangers of the deadly disease. This necessitated the need for various stakeholders to carry out adequate enlightenment. The National Association of Nigerian Theatre Arts Practitioners is sensitizing its members.
Workshop center was more for we artists ourselves, some of the people around us at National Theatre staff and some other stakeholders, and then go out there to spread the news.
Although Nigeria has been declared Ebola-free by the World Health Organization, speakers are and work at preventing another outbreak of the disease.
And we knew how we got to where we are, or where we are as of today. But the truth is that we have tried to send away, for now, send away Ebola. That's the situation on ground. Nothing at all. A lot of activities are still going on. Surveillance, active surveillance is there.
Person to person, they pass and contact disease. Then they go down. He like the place where they get. He like person where they get.
The event featured a question and answer session. In Lagos,
celebrations. Traffic situation is usually chaotic in some areas, with motorists breaking traffic rules. And in the studio, the sector commander of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Lagos, Mr. Hygienist Omeje, to discuss plans by the FRSC to ensure safety and adherence to traffic rules and regulations. Mr. Omeje, we are glad to have you join us in the studio.
Thank you very much.
How prepared is the FRSC to control the volume of traffic in terms of...
Already put our men on the right frame of mind. Of course, as you know, each time we have this kind of festive period, we more or less shut down our administrative setup and push everybody in the office to the road so that we'll be able to cope with the high volume of traffic that is associated. That's exactly what we did. We had to collapse all our component units within the metropolis and bring all the vehicles to the express, particularly Lagos-Ibadan, and of course again then Ikorodu to Shagamu. These are routes that we know that people will always want to use to travel, and of course Sango, Bulegba, Sango, Ota, Axis. So those routes, if you used any of these routes today, you would have noticed the presence of our men visibly, especially on Lagos-Ibadan, which is the major carriageway. Well, of course, the first thing, if you know that you're going to travel, is we had always advocated that you ask yourself a question: is that vehicle you are going to travel with, is it in the right condition for you to travel with it? That's the cooler, then mechanically sound for you to travel, so that it's not a case of you get on the road, the vehicle breaks down and you expose yourself and you're on the highway. So having done that, we also advocate that you ask yourself a question: am I in the right frame of mind and the right state of health to even embark on this journey? Now, if the answers to this are in the affirmative, then you can be expected to drive, to drink and drive at the same time, because alcohol and driving, they don't go together. You also ensure that you do not overload this vehicle, because at periods like this, overloading is always one of the major risk factors that's responsible for crashes that have been associated with periods like this. And again, as you drive, then don't overspeed, because we've identified overspeeding as one of the major risk factors responsible for the crashes that we witness on our highways. So these are the precautionary measures that one is expected to take while embarking on this journey. And we have also noticed in recent times that Nigerians, because of the phone
works going on in Lagos,
exactly,
here and there. And lately, you know, the Salah is just this weekend, but the whole of Lagos has been made into a ram market, you know, aggravating the already bad traffic situation. What is FRSC doing now to take these people off the road? Because it's not proper for them to sell rams just on the road.
Yes, it's a very unfortunate situation that you find ourselves, but again, we are containing it. You know, the attitude of our people. We are not just, we're just recalcitrant when it comes to issue or so close to the road. And the buyers had no option again but to start lining their vehicles by the hard shoulder. But we were able to contain it in more or less forming chains. I was on the road myself today. We had to form chains along the routes to ensure that nobody blocked.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I had on the news, infrastructure development banking in focus. After these messages, NTA News at 7 continues shortly.
There is an Ebola virus epidemic in some West African countries. The Nigerian government wants you to be aware and watch out against the spread of Ebola in your community. Help keep our country safe. Refer anybody coming into Nigeria from any throat, cough, red eyes, and bleeding from the eyes, ears, and nose. Protect yourself. Wash your hands regularly with soap and sanitizer. Avoid contact with the blood, urine, feces, or saliva of animals like bats. The virus is deadly. Don't catch it. Don't spread it. This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information.
The National Theatre invites secondary school students offering literature and other interested students to the reloaded dramatization of literature texts. Featuring Femi Oshofison's Women of Owu.
But we use us as dogs. We are!
Date October 20 to 26, 2014. Venue National Theatre in Ghana. Time question and answer session follows after each performance. Women of Owu, come, watch.
Welcome back, and we just joined us. You're on to NTA News at 7. How can Nigeria produce goods and services that can compete favorably in the international market? Is what a financial...
Welcome to the business segment. If Nigeria must achieve its aspirations of producing world-class infrastructure that will support manufacturing, this is an interview with Abdullahi Mohammed. The major challenges faced by those involved in processing the natural resources for the common good of all is the deteriorating state of infrastructure, which leads to expensive cost of production. This consequently places goods manufactured in Nigeria less competitive than infrastructure.
A lot of the potential of this country is being
is being sat upon, if you like, because we do not have the right infrastructure to support productivity. When you have good roads, you have stable power supply, you have efficient transportation system, you find that the productivity of the average Nigerian will be unleashed, and our GDP will grow even faster. Alone will not do it.
We sincerely apologize for that, for not being able to bring you that report due to some technical issues. We now move on to the next story. Some stakeholders in the banking system have made a case for the strengthening of the roles of independent directors. This is with a view to sustaining the gains of the banking system reforms. They argued that the contributions of the independent directors as neutral parties, if given the required backing, will check the excesses. Well, go back to our news caster. It seems our reports are not ready yet. Thank you.
Entertainment news is next on our lineup with Thekla Wiki.
KJ is no doubt one of Nigeria's soft-looking.
Yeah.
Did you realize it?
When?
Oh,
this, some things live with you. You don't have to realize you.
Putting on the swag.
You know what I mean?
So how has that affected your career?
About looks and all that gloss and stuff. So that came freely.
Naturally. Guess what? He's planning to drop the bachelor's hat for the woman of his dreams. But I also know there's a woman who will tie your hand, tie your leg.
Well, tie everything.
Tie everything.
Yes.
How well are you looking?
Oh, I'm looking super forward to it because I also think that it sort of changes things. There are people who respect you a bit more because
your legs are tied, your hands are tied.
They think that you're more responsible.
Though he hasn't actually revealed the mystery woman, but in time we'll find out and serve his chat with yours truly on the program Saturday Night, showing this Saturday on all NTA stations nationwide at 11 p.m. Miss it?
And now to some foreign news. 4 people who came in close contact with the first person diagnosed with Ebola viral disease in the United States have been quarantined in an apartment in Dallas, Texas. Reports say that health officials have widened their search for people who had direct or indirect contact with him. Up to 18 people suspected to have had contact. The number of people that may have come in contact with the 18 have multiplied. The United States contracted the Ebola virus while a handful is being monitored.
World number 1 Novak Djokovic has cruised into the semi-finals of the China Open after defeating Grigor Dimitrov 6-2, 6-4.
Count breaks down yet again.
7-year-old Seb, who has now won 22 consecutive matches at the China Open, will now face Britain's Andy Murray, who triumphed over US Open champion Marin Cilic. Meanwhile, in the women's category, world number 1 Serena Williams has pulled out of the China Open due to a left injury. It is the second consecutive tournament the 3-year-old has begun following illness during her first set at the Wuhan Open in China last week. Her opponent Samantha Stosur will now go straight into the semi-finals. Serena's sister Venus has also withdrawn from the China Open due to a viral illness. New world marathon record holder Dennis Kimeto arrived in Kenya to a heroic welcome, which included a limo parade across the capital. The former farmer, who started professional running 5 years ago, won the Berlin Marathon on a new record time of 2 hours, 2 minutes and 57 seconds. Kimeto's compatriot Wilson Kipsang set the old record of 2 hours, 3 minutes, 23 seconds 12 months ago. And that's Sports Medley on NTA2 News.
Late Brigadier General Benjamin Adekunle, popularly called Black.
The burial ceremony of late Brigadier General Benjamin Adekunle, the man who fought the War of Unity, started with a funeral service at the Tafawa Balewa Square, Lagos. Members of the armed forces, both retired and serving, were in attendance to honor one of their own. The Lagos State Governor, captains of industry, and traditional rulers were also there to pay their last respect to a great hero. Children, friends, and colleagues of the late war veteran generally described the late senior officer as intelligent, efficient, and outspoken.
He is a loving person. He was caring in his lifetime, a patriot, a very professional person.
He was a good father, he was a very loyal friend, and I think altogether a great man.
A heroic, brave, courageous, and talented, morale, a lot of strength to move on to where we are today.
Thereafter, the remains of the late Benjamin General Adekunle was given a full military burial as a senior officer. Born in 1937 in Kaduna State, late Brigadier General Benjamin Adekunle hails from Ogbomosho in Oyo State. He trained at 1960. Brigadier General Adekunle had several appointments during his service, amongst which was the General Officer commanding 3rd Marine Commando. He conducted the Bonny landing operation in 1967. He voluntarily retired in 1974 after serving the nation.
Tributes continue to pour in for the late former managing director of the news agency of Nigeria, Oluremi Oyo. Many people have continued to pay condolence visits to her Lagos residence. In this report, correspondents Thomas Owetere and Lynn Leneke collect tributes.
The one-time chief press secretary to the former president, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, Mrs. Oluremi Oyo, died on the 1st of October in London Hospital after a battle with cancer. She was to clock 62 on the 12th of this month. Sympathizers from different parts of the country stormed her Ijegun residence to condole her family over the loss.
She was a great woman, good wife.
Mrs. Remy, very hardworking. And even up till last month, the text is still on my phone. When I heard the rumor of her death, I quickly sent her a text, "Auntie, please, what is happening?" You know, I didn't even know that she wrote me that she was fine from the hospital bed.
It's an embodiment of good things of life.
The widower, Mr. Vincent Oyo, could not hide his feelings.
She's been my wife for 37 years. She distinguished herself exceedingly well.
The mood at St. Joaquin and Aunt Catholic Church, Ijegun, where she was a member, was pensive.
She was a very committed parishioner, and she did her best.
The family planned to organize the burial within 30 days. In Lagos, Thomas Owetere, NTA News.
And to end the news, a recap of main points. We told you that the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has produced 59 armored squad with the aim of strengthening security in the country. We also brought you efforts of the Federal Road Safety Corps to coordinate traffic and make roads safer during the Salah. That's NTA News at 7. Do join us again at 9 for Network News. I am Viera Chumba. Many thanks for your time.